Good day and happy Thursday, beautiful souls. Welcome to another episode of Pamtastic on Purpose. This is episode 7 today, and today I thought it would be a good time to give a little bit of background about myself and just kind of who I am. I haven't done that up until now with any of the things that I've shared, so I figured, well, I should probably do that, right? Messy being the new perfect and all. I realized I haven't done that. So just to give you a little idea of who I am, I relate to the term soul therapist. I kind of gave that name to myself when I first started on my career path. Pam Hunsinger, mom and wife first and foremost. Also a soul therapist. I'm a singer. I'm a poet. I'm a writer. I'm very multifaceted. But I have been on my career path sharing my spiritual gifts since 2019. It was my own personal experience with mental health and real life trauma that led me to want to help others. When I was faced with experiencing my own mental breakdown after my daughter was born in 2018, my experience with doctors and the medical industry at large led me to knowing that I wanted to be a way for others to get help, if and when the medical industry failed them too. I gained my Reiki Level 3 Master Practitioner certification. Wow! Certification in 2019. And I have been working with tarot since about 2009, kind of in the shadows, if you will, with close friends and family. In 2009, I was still very scared of my own gifts. But yeah, in 2019, that's when I started working with others on this path. I'm also a certified astrologist and hypnotherapist, but I don't really focus on those modalities or utilize them much in my practices anymore unless it's rolled into my other modality, which is the galactic human reading. I'm also a self-proclaimed emotion code guide, mind galactic messenger, and gene keys and human design guide. So that is just a little bit of background about the services that I provide. I'm a jewelry maker. I make wire-wrapped jewelry. I make sun catchers, decor, anything kind of spiritual or right-brained. I probably have my hands in. I'm a painter. I don't know if I identify with painter, but I like to paint. I'm a creatrix and a service provider. That's who I am. So yeah, just a little bit of background. I have a storefront in Elizabeth City, North Carolina called Stardust. And if you would like to book a service with me, that is where we would do it if we were in person. I can do online as well. But yeah. So that is pretty much wraps it up as far as the identity labels, if you will. And now I just would like to speak from my heart and speak what's here and what's live for me right now. What's been live for me and stirring through me this past week has been very conflicting in where I was last week. So as I've mentioned last week, I was at a very transformational and amazing event that was just something that I have needed for so long, and it was beautiful. And the high from that experience, I have been riding a high for what I feel to be, I don't know, over a week. And then I was presented with something very unfortunate and negative that my daughter is facing. And with this information, it has caused turmoil within my body because of the extreme high that I have been in. This negative low is causing friction within my vessel. which is, it's fine. It's all expansive, and I'm here for it all. And with that being said, I also want to speak on this little thing called sacred rage. I really want to speak from the heart, and I also want to do that from a place of, well, I want to speak from a place of the wound. Okay, so back up. What I'm dealing with is very live and very present, and I am in the beginning stages of a process that is going to be a long process. And what that means is there are some things that I have processed, and there are some things that I'm going to have to navigate where it's I'm still in it, right? Past couple of days, I've taken the time to just be with myself and rest, release, and process whatever emotions are coming up so that I can stand in my power and be the advocate for my daughter that she needs me to be. So as you can imagine, if you're a parent, I'm sure that you know when your children come to you with something that you feel kind of helpless about, first thing you want to do is help in whatever way you can. And as a parent, a lot of times I think we've been shamed and shut down to utilize our sacred rage in these times. This is coming up because I often feel called to speak on sacred rage because I think it's still very misunderstood in the area of expression and kind of allowing ourselves to be the humans that we are and utilizing these resources called our feelings and emotions. I wanted to share a poem that I had written called My Sacred Rage. I looked everywhere for that poem. Of course, I cannot remember it off the top of my head. I wrote it last year. I looked high and low, every notebook I have. I've looked online. I've looked in my notes in my phone. I cannot find this poem anywhere. And it was what I wanted to utilize today on this podcast. I wanted to share my poem. I wanted to use that as my expression of kind of where I'm at. I couldn't find it. And so I trusted that there was a reason for that. I didn't go into a frenzy. I didn't panic like I normally would about losing something that was important to me that I had written. Instead, I just allowed, and I sat with that thought where it's all okay. There's a reason. And then it turned into that feeling of trust and understanding, hearing the message from Source that I don't need to read the poem to speak on sacred rage. And I'm still in the beginning stage of, it's like there's this quote and it says, I heard it a while ago. I don't know where I heard it. I saw it, read it, something. And it said, we should speak from the scar, never the scab. So I'm treading lightly here because I'm not even scabbed over. It's a fresh wound, okay? So I'm being very mindful of how I speak on this while also allowing my voice to come out and share what's coming out and up. So I did find something that I want to read, and that's how I want to express while I'm here today. I wrote this back in July. It's a channeled message that I had received from Source. I wrote it in July. I think I probably shared it to Facebook and Instagram. A lot of times when I'm sharing like this, I only write, which is fine, and it's a great form of self-expression for me, and it's always been home for me of how I can express when I can't speak. Now that I can speak and now that I'm not scared to share my voice, I would like to share it this way. So if you're here, thank you. And thank you for listening. I am now going to read what I feel is on my heart and this is just how I want to share where I'm at right now, because it seems to be really relatable to kind of what I'm dealing with in the now. I'm good. I really am. I'm whole. And also there are some fragmented things coming up that I need to deal with, and I have to allow the release of that, and also honor the fact that I'm still kind of like, what the fuck? I was just in this ultimate dream world. And now I'm back down in this reality and this low vibrational energy that I don't want to be in, and it's all okay. It's all okay. But all right, here I go. I'm going to read it. Let all of us remember that we are not here to be one frequency or one tone of definitive vibration. No, child, we are the needles that dance in between, within the infinite spectrum of the flesh and the feelings, paired with a polar spectrum of rationality and the deep fear of the unseen. We were never meant to chase indefinitely, but to remember we are everything and nothing inevitably. The all and the nothing and the silence of creation and feeling in between. We are the loudness, the noise, and the distraction, while we seek outside of ourselves, hoping for clarity, a map, and some direction. I say we because I have learned oneness is in an external way, and now I'm being called to walk into my own purposeful ray. For I am a dancing, flickering, ever-infinite sparkle of magical light rays, here to remember and express soulful divinity. The kind of divinity that understands the paradoxical dance between the tangible and the fertile unseen. My soul remembers that we are all infinite portals. Yet my human body keeps score, and it keeps my soulful rhythmic origin alive and seething, chomping at the bits with sacred rage and holy divine feminine, while gracefully loving and accepting my overworked, unheard masculine. And that's my channeled message that I had written back in July. It sums up where I feel I'm currently at. I am currently calibrating balance within myself of extreme high energy, extreme low energy. Both things are existing in myself in an extreme way. We are always and or both in one vessel. It is so important for us to remember to utilize the feelings and emotions that we have as resources. They are there for us. They are literally our signaling system in the design of our vehicle, right? Like, we are the vessel, we are the ship, we are the vehicle, and the emotions and feelings are the signal, letting us know, here's what's happening. We were never taught how to utilize them for our benefit, really. Boy, we know how to shut them off and shut them down, though, don't we? We know how to avoid like a mofo. We know how to just suck it in and keep our mouths shut and obey, because we got to keep the peace. It's not gonna do anything anyway. I don't want to ruffle any feathers. I'm a motherfucking feather ruffler, and I'm here for it all. And if I didn't honor my sacred rage throughout the years that I was sitting in survival mode, I would have never gotten out of survival mode. So now what's happening within me is I'm learning now in this present experience just how powerful I am and just how capable I am. And I can do it now from a place where I don't have to burn the entire village down. before, when it came to honoring my sacred rage, it would literally be me, and I would be exploding because I had enough and it had to come out. But I always waited until the very last, until I couldn't help it anymore, until it wasn't me responding. It was my body saying, this needs to come the fuck up and out, or you're gonna kill yourself. Right? Like, not I'm gonna do that, but my body was going to shut down in some way if it didn't come up and out. That was how I handled my sacred rage for most of my life. I would take it and 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 take the hit and take the hit and take the hit. And I'd let people talk to me and treat me a certain way. And I'd do this, and I would just keep putting up with it and keep going back and keep putting up with it and keep going back. The only thing I was doing wrong was not honoring what I needed to do with my rage. I needed to speak up. I needed to ignite the flames of my voice. But I was scared. I wasn't just scared of hurting someone else. No, I was scared of my own power. I was scared of my own power because I didn't know how to use it. By the way, as I say the word scared, I just want to also point out, scared, sacred, the spells are in the spelling, right? When we're scared, it's challenging to make different moves, because if we've experienced trauma and abuse and pain for most of our lives, and then someone comes in and shows us a different way, it's challenging sometimes to trust that way when all you know is the experience of it going in the way that brought you into survival. Faith has been a dance I've had. Faith in myself, faith in God, universe. Faith has been so challenging because trust has been so challenging. I couldn't trust myself to express my rage because every time I had in the past expressed myself or stood up for myself or had to be assertive or had to fight for myself, I was ganged up on. I was gaslit. I was singled out. I was the misfit. Why are you causing problems? You just like to fight. Why can't you just be happy? It was always me. I was always the problem, and nobody wanted to face their own. Doesn't matter. I don't know why I went to the past. I apologize for that. No, I don't apologize. Forgive me for that, please. Thank you. I honor my sacred rage now. Because if I'm feeling rage and if I'm feeling anger, there is a fucking reason. And again, does that mean, not again, but I don't know if I mentioned this before, but does that mean that in that moment of feeling my sacred rage, am I gonna go and use it and just blow my flames of fire and burn shit down? No, that's not what it means. And if it's necessary, bring it on. Okay? Do you see what I'm saying? It's there. We are reflections of God, extensions of God. God made us perfectly, which means all of the things that we can feel were given to us by God. There are times when the negative emotions are absolutely 100% going to be needed to alchemize a situation, a circumstance. To alchemize the shit into gold, you got to utilize the shit. Make sense? It doesn't feel great to be rageful per se. And it's how things and people and circumstances and experiences move, especially for divine feminine women. We are the womb men. We are the literal creators of this realm. We bring and birth the babies into this realm. Think about giving birth. Yeah, sure, it's peaceful and joyous after it's all said and done. The baby's in your arms and the oxytocin kicks in. But it is a violent, chaotic, crazy, rageful experience to have and birth the baby. And I will add this. There is a reason women give birth and not men. But we should shut it down. We should shut our power off. We should shut that anger and that rage that is meant to protect our babies off when it comes. No. We don't shut it off. We utilize it as the wood for the fire that is going to have to burn. So, yeah, I've been really releasing, sitting with, being with, honoring my sacred rage for the past week, so that when I may have to face a circumstance or person about this process that requires that to be on my side, I will use my darkness to protect my light, per se. I will, because it's necessary. Because I am my daughter's advocate. I am her protector. And sometimes that means that sacred rage is going to be present. So learning and discerning and practicing working with your sacred rage is very important if you want to be whole and full and stand in your power healthily and in a way that you don't just burn the whole house down. Yeah, and I think that's all I got for you today. If you're here and you listened, thank you. I appreciate you. I love you as always. Thank you for being here. And of course, if you feel called to support in any way, I greatly appreciate that with love and gratitude. Until next time, stay purposeful, stay present, and keep shining that light. I love you.